What happens when human ambition outpaces safety and truly impossible projects start to rise? These are the mega projects you can only find in the most impossible places on Earth. They were built to conquer the planet's harshest, most unforgiving limits. Perched over bottomless abysses, clinging to the tops of towering peaks, these structures stand as living proof of reckless daring and sheer madness. It's the relentless advance of science and technology that has turned these insane ideas into cold, hard reality. So today, join Hide a Planet as we dive deeper into the world of the most dangerous megaprojects ever built. Entities that probably should have stayed locked away in the wildest corners of human imagination. This is not merely a building, but a statement that urban space can now become a giant storytelling medium, where technology reshapes how humans perceive reality. It emerged as an architectural form where nature and human ingenuity converged. Its glass facade rises like ocean waves from the heavy red brick foundations left over from the old warehouse. Completed in 2016, after nearly a decade of construction, the building has become a new symbol of Germany. The entire 110-meter-tall structure is encased in over 1,000 nano-coated glass panels that are resistant to seawater. Each panel is bent at varying degrees to reduce wind pressure and create constantly changing reflections. Tao Zhu Yin Yuan. It rises like a giant creature, the entire tower rotating 90 degrees, giving the impression that if you stand at the base and look up, you're in awe. Visitors often say, this tower blurs the boundary between nature and humanity, making you feel both small and strangely connected. Viewed from the side, the steps spread out like curled leaves wrapped around a living tree trunk. On sunny days, the glass facade scatters light into thousands of reflections. The structure resembles a crystal, slowly rotating so brilliantly that standing close can make you feel slightly dizzy. With over 23,000 trees densely packed around each spiral, the wind rustling through the leaves sounds like the very breath of the forest. Delta Works, Netherlands. It is the largest water control system ever built by humankind, where more than half of the country's land area lies below sea level. Initiated after the devastating 1953 floods that claimed thousands of lives, the Delta Works emerged as a national vow. The ocean would never again be allowed to submerge this land in the impossible places. The project comprises 13 main structures, including dams, sluices, dikes, and tsunami barriers stretching over 25 meters. The heart of Delta Works is a protective barrier system, a series of massive steel gates, each weighing up to 18,000 tons. It has the ability to close when tsunamis strike and open to protect the ecosystem when the sea is calm. Harbin Opera House, China. The Harbin Opera House rises above land, where temperatures drop to -30 degrees Celsius. It looks like a giant block of ice, bent by the northerly winds. Built on wetlands that freeze and melt every year from afar, it resembles an Arctic creature preparing to take flight from the ground. As you approach, its silver curves gleam against the sky with the sharp brightness of a science fiction landscape. And as the fog descends, the building dissolves into a suspended outline. A steel dream melts into the clouds. Masjid al-Haram, Saudi Arabia. Imagine having to operate a building that accommodates millions of visitors at once. During peak occasions like the Hajj, the density of people can reach 4 to 5 people per square meter. This is the physical limit of safety. In the scorching 45 degrees Celsius heat of the desert, keeping a vast open space cool is a feat of thermodynamic engineering. The cooling system here is one of the largest in the world within impossible places. Saudi Arabia is undertaking its third expansion project with an investment of up to $100 billion. For comparison, that amount of money could build approximately 20 Burj Khalifa towers. The goal is to increase the capacity to 2.5 million people. Ithra, Saudi Arabia. Designed by the renowned architectural firm, Snøhetta Ithra resembles a cluster of giant pebbles smoothed by the desert wind. The building blocks are not stacked in the traditional way, but appear to be leaning on each other. The central tower, standing 112 meters tall, was constructed using an extremely complex, undulating steel structure. The building's surface is covered with 350 kilometers of three-dimensional bent stainless steel pipes. This was a construction nightmare, but it creates an unprecedented visual effect reflecting the harsh sun of the Dhahran Desert. The most interesting aspect is its location directly above well number 7, where the first oil was discovered in Saudi Arabia in 1938. Huajiang Canyon Bridge. Built in Guizhou Province, the bridge spans the Huajiang Gorge, one of China's deepest and most treacherous gorges. The area is crisscrossed by limestone cliffs and a fast-flowing river, making the construction of a straight road nearly impossible. The bridge was designed as a suspension bridge, with its deck situated more than 1,969 feet above the canyon floor. This is why it has become one of the tallest bridges ever built by humans in impossible places. During construction, engineers used cables, drones, and high-precision surveying to install all the components without any support structures underneath. Turning torso, Sweden. This is an experiment in the ability to move in three-dimensional space where technology and human vision are at the forefront of 21st century megacities. A 190-meter-tall humanoid spiral structure, upon completion, marked the world's first spiral tower. Inaugurated in 2005 and based on Santiago Calatrava's twisted human sculpture, this project ushered in a new era for Nordic architecture, where sculptural thinking blended with construction practice. Its structure consists of 9 rotating segments, each 5 stories tall, creating a total twist of 90 degrees from base to top. Ping An Finance Center. During construction, the tower's initial projected height had to be reduced to meet aviation's safety requirements. This turned Ping An into a record-breaking structure limited not by engineering capabilities, but by the sky itself. A rare example of how human ambition must always interact with the natural environment. As sea breezes whip across its glass facade at over 1,640 feet, the Ping An Financial Center stands tall like a steel creature. It proves that humanity not only builds higher, but also learns to dialogue with and adapt to the harsh natural environment. Siduhe Bridge, China. It is one of the world's highest suspension bridges, spanning the majestic Siduhe Valley in Hubei Province, China. When completed in 2009, the bridge set a record with its deck height nearly 1,640 feet above the valley floor. It has become a bold symbol of modern transportation engineering in rugged, mountainous terrain. With a total length of approximately 4,900 feet, it utilizes a traditional suspension bridge structure with high-strength steel cables. More than 27,000 tons of steel were used to ensure load-bearing capacity and stability against strong winds within the deep valley. The structure is located in virtually inaccessible terrain, forcing engineers to use cables and aerial equipment to install each section. Lotte World Tower, Korea. Rising majestically from the heart of the city, like an absolute vertical axis piercing through the thick fog of an Asian megacity. It's not only the tallest building in South Korea, but also a clear statement that the nation has entered an era of global prominence. Located in Jamsil, an area steeped in economic development and popular culture, this tower houses a fully vertical ecosystem. Inside, there are offices, luxury hotels, high-rise residential buildings, retail spaces, and an aerial observation deck. The tower's slender form, inspired by Korean ceramics and calligraphy, softens the massive glass volume, making it feel light rather than rigid or heavy. Ain Dubai, United Arab Emirates. When you want to build a Ferris wheel that's 250 meters tall, you're not simply making a giant wheel. The wheel axle is held in place by 192 ultra-high-strength cables, each tens of meters long. This structure consumed over 11,200 tons of steel, a figure 25% higher than the amount of steel used to build the Eiffel Tower. Lifting the main axle and bearings to that height is a feat only a few companies in the world are capable of accomplishing. Currently, it stands there silent and proud, awaiting a radical technical solution so that it can turn things around again. Museum of the Future, built as a giant metal spiral where solid and hollow forms blend together to create a unique architectural expression. Along with the continuously curved stainless steel surface, it forms an ellipse suspended in mid-air. The building stands out along Sheikh Zayed Road as a technological sculpture rising from the desert amidst impossible places. Inside the museum are highly interactive exhibition rooms, simulating future technologies and concepts of extraterrestrial life. A task that would be difficult to accomplish using traditional techniques without digital simulation. Each floor acts as a new chapter, guiding visitors through possibilities that may emerge in the coming decades. Karakoram Highway, Pakistan. This is a symbol of the friendship between Pakistan and China, higher than mountains, deeper than the sea. It is approximately 1,300 kilometers long, connecting Havelian to Kashgar. Building an international trade route through a disputed area was a logistically insane decision in the 1960s. This area lies on geological fault lines. Earthquakes, landslides, flash floods, and avalanches occur frequently. In total, more than 1,000 people sacrificed their lives during the construction process, which lasted nearly 20 years. Bailong Elevator, China. It is the world's tallest outdoor elevator. It was installed directly into a sandstone cliff in Zhangjiajie, China. This structure transforms sheer cliffs into a walkway that takes people from the valley floor up to the clouds in just minutes. A journey that previously required hours of dangerous mountain climbing between impossible places. Built with the goal of reducing pressure on natural trails and expanding access to scenic areas. 3 two-story transparent glass cabins allow visitors to observe the massive rock formations as the elevator glides vertically through the air. Shanghai Maglev, China. This is a railway line that doesn't run on traditional tracks. It glides along an invisible corridor where motion is freed from friction and travel time is shortened to just minutes. The link from Pudong Airport to central Shanghai is brief, but carries a country's ambition to turn speed into basic infrastructure. The train reached commercial speeds of over 267 miles per hour, transforming a journey that once took nearly an hour into an incredibly short experience. The acceleration was completely smooth, with no shaking or metallic noise. The city of Shanghai appears through the window as a continuous band of motion where space stretches and then instantly collapses. Apple Park, USA. When Steve Jobs presented this project for the last time to the Cupertino City Council in 2011, he didn't want to build an office building. He wanted to build the world's best architectural masterpiece. From an initial estimate of $500 million, the final figure soared to $5 billion. To put that into perspective, this amount is enough to build 2 to 3 of the world's most luxurious skyscrapers. Architects recount that Apple required a tolerance of just 0.1 millimeters for wood and metal joints. Harpa Concert Hall, Iceland. The project began in 2007, but shortly afterward, the 2008 financial crisis struck, nearly bankrupting Iceland. All construction in Iceland was at a standstill at that time. Harpa became a rusty steel frame standing alone on the seashore. While the public was outraged at the banks, the Icelandic government made a decision to continue funding the completion of Harpa. They believed the country needed a cultural icon to revive national spirit, rather than a soulless shell. Øresund Bridge, Sweden. Stretching across the Øresund Strait like a cold but precise straight line, it connects Copenhagen in Denmark with Malmö in Sweden. More than just a bridge, it's a rare hybrid system of sea bridge, artificial island, and underground tunnel. Where national borders are stretched taut and gradually disappear in the relentless flow of traffic. Long bridges tear through the Nordic winds, and dim light carrying cars and trains running side by side. Beneath the seabed, an underwater tunnel allows aircraft to take off and land safely at Copenhagen Airport. Akashi Bridge, Japan. This is not a resounding victory over nature, but a lasting agreement with the sea and seismic forces. It stands as a declaration of Japan's philosophy built not only to overcome, but also to coexist with risk. Stretching across the Øresund Strait like a cold but precise straight line, it connects Copenhagen in Denmark with Malmö in Sweden. More than just a bridge, it's a rare hybrid system of sea bridge, artificial island, and underground tunnel. Where national borders are stretched taut and gradually disappear in the relentless flow of traffic. Long bridge spans cut through Nordic winds and pale light, carrying cars and trains side by side. Guangzhou Opera House, China. Built on alluvial soil, heavily influenced by tides and seasonal water flow. The soft alluvial geology presented an unusual challenge to the foundations of a large performance structure. Engineers must use deep, closely spaced piles plus a protective layer to counter erosion in the humid subtropical climate. The project is inspired by two river-polished stones, symbolizing the connection between nature and Guangzhou's urban context. The outer surface consists of an irregular, triangular panel network, allowing the structure to appear soft while efficiently distributing loads. Curving lines along the building create a sense of motion, as if an imaginary river continues to sculpt it. Marina One, Singapore. What makes Marina One so crazy is its green heart design. Instead of maximizing the floor space, the architects decided to carve out a huge void in the middle of the four towers. Maintaining an ecosystem with over 160,000 trees and a 13-meter-high waterfall right inside a skyscraper. It breaks the suffocating atmosphere of the financial district, transforming the workplace into an eco-resort. This is a direct slap in the face to Singapore's overcrowding stereotype. This creates a sense of softness, softening the harshness of the high-rise towers. Landwasser Viaduct, Switzerland. Landwasser Viaduct belongs to an era when Switzerland built infrastructure like clockwork. Compact, precise, placed exactly where needed, and resilient against snow, ice, and time. The bridge's dizzying height makes every train appear suspended in mid-air, with a deep valley and cold water flowing far below. Landwasser Viaduct does not need massive scale to be a mega project. It proves that sometimes a marvel lies in a perfect geometric decision. A place where a train streaks across the sky and swallows it whole into a mountain in a single breath. Eden Project, United Kingdom. The Eden Project is embodied in a depleted white clay mine, nearly 60 meters deep and completely devoid of life. The soil here is acidic, lacks nutrients, and the terrain is steep and prone to landslides. They created artificial soil by mixing mining waste with dredged mud from rivers. This is a biological regeneration on a massive scale. Instead of using heavy glass, they used ETFE, a super lightweight polymer that is durable and conducts heat better than glass. Still, the world's largest greenhouse, it perfectly mimics the Amazon rainforest's climate amid chilly England. Millau Viaduct, France, spans the Tarn River Valley in southern France, where the highland terrain long restricted north-south traffic for decades. This structure creates a straight, high, and slender highway that glides through the air rather than cutting into the natural landscape. The bridge is approximately 1.53 miles long and includes 7 massive concrete pillars taller than the Eiffel Tower. The steel deck is designed extremely thin and light, then lowered step by step by hydraulic systems from both sides of the valley. Every move was precisely calculated under conditions of strong winds and extreme altitude where no mistakes were permissible. This is not merely a building, but a statement that urban space can now become a giant storytelling medium, where technology reshapes how humans perceive reality. It emerged as an architectural form where nature and human ingenuity converged. Its glass facade rises like ocean waves from the heavy red brick foundations left over from the old warehouse. Completed in 2016, after nearly a decade of construction, the building has become a new symbol of Germany. The entire 110-meter-tall structure is encased in over 1,000 nano-coated glass panels that are resistant to seawater. Each panel is bent at varying degrees to reduce wind pressure and create constantly changing reflections. Tao Zhu Yin Yuan. It rises like a giant creature, the entire tower rotating 90 degrees, giving the impression that if you stand at the base and look up, you're in awe. Visitors often say, this tower blurs the boundary between nature and humanity, making you feel both small and strangely connected. Viewed from the side, the steps spread out like curled leaves wrapped around a living tree trunk. On sunny days, the glass facade scatters light into thousands of reflections. The structure resembles a crystal, slowly rotating so brilliantly that standing close can make you feel slightly dizzy. With over 23,000 trees densely packed around each spiral, the wind rustling through the leaves sounds like the very breath of the forest. Delta Works, Netherlands. It is the largest water control system ever built by humankind, where more than half of the country's land area lies below sea level. Initiated after the devastating 1953 floods that claimed thousands of lives, the Delta Works emerged as a national vow. The ocean would never again be allowed to submerge this land in the impossible places. The project comprises 13 main structures, including dams, sluices, dikes, and tsunami barriers stretching over 25 meters. The heart of Delta Works is a protective barrier system, a series of massive steel gates, each weighing up to 18,000 tons. It has the ability to close when tsunamis strike and open to protect the ecosystem when the sea is calm. Harbin Opera House, China. The Harbin Opera House rises above land where temperatures drop to -30 degrees Celsius. It looks like a giant block of ice bent by the northerly winds. Built on wetlands that freeze and melt every year from afar, it resembles an Arctic creature preparing to take flight from the ground. As you approach, its silver curves gleam against the sky with the sharp brightness of a science fiction landscape. And as the fog descends, the building dissolves into a suspended outline. A steel dream melts into the clouds. Masjid al-Haram, Saudi Arabia. Imagine having to operate a building that accommodates millions of visitors at once. During peak occasions like the Hajj, the density of people can reach 4 to 5 people per square meter. This is the physical limit of safety. In the scorching 45 degrees Celsius heat of the desert, keeping a vast open space cool is a feat of thermodynamic engineering. The cooling system here is one of the largest in the world within impossible places. Saudi Arabia is undertaking its third expansion project with an investment of up to $100 billion. For comparison, that amount of money could build approximately 20 Burj Khalifa towers. The goal is to increase the capacity to 2.5 million people. Ithra, Saudi Arabia. Designed by the renowned architectural firm, Snøhetta Ithra resembles a cluster of giant pebbles smoothed by the desert wind. The building blocks are not stacked in the traditional way, but appear to be leaning on each other. The central tower, standing 112 meters tall, was constructed using an extremely complex, undulating steel structure. The building's surface is covered with 350 kilometers of three-dimensional bent stainless steel pipes. This was a construction nightmare, but it creates an unprecedented visual effect reflecting the harsh sun of the Dhahran Desert. The most interesting aspect is its location directly above well number 7, where the first oil was discovered in Saudi Arabia in 1938. Huajiang Canyon Bridge. Built in Guizhou Province, the bridge spans the Huajiang Gorge, one of China's deepest and most treacherous gorges. The area is crisscrossed by limestone cliffs and a fast-flowing river, making the construction of a straight road nearly impossible. The bridge was designed as a suspension bridge, with its deck situated more than 1,969 feet above the canyon floor. This is why it has become one of the tallest bridges ever built by humans in impossible places. During construction, engineers used cables, drones, and high-precision surveying to install all the components without any support structures underneath. Turning torso, Sweden. This is an experiment in the ability to move in three-dimensional space where technology and human vision are at the forefront of 21st century megacities. A 190-meter-tall humanoid spiral structure, upon completion, marked the world's first spiral tower. Inaugurated in 2005 and based on Santiago Calatrava's twisted human sculpture, this project ushered in a new era for Nordic architecture, where sculptural thinking blended with construction practice. Its structure consists of 9 rotating segments, each 5 stories tall, creating a total twist of 90 degrees from base to top. Ping An Finance Center. During construction, the tower's initial projected height had to be reduced to meet aviation's safety requirements. This turned Ping An into a record-breaking structure limited not by engineering capabilities, but by the sky itself. A rare example of how human ambition must always interact with the natural environment. As sea breezes whip across its glass facade at over 1,640 feet, the Ping An Financial Center stands tall like a steel creature. It proves that humanity not only builds higher, but also learns to dialogue with and adapt to the harsh natural environment. Siduhe Bridge, China. It is one of the world's highest suspension bridges, spanning the majestic Siduhe Valley in Hubei Province, China. When completed in 2009, the bridge set a record with its deck height nearly 1,640 feet above the valley floor. It has become a bold symbol of modern transportation engineering in rugged, mountainous terrain. With a total length of approximately 4,900 feet, it utilizes a traditional suspension bridge structure with high-strength steel cables. More than 27,000 tons of steel were used to ensure load-bearing capacity and stability against strong winds within the deep valley. The structure is located in virtually inaccessible terrain, forcing engineers to use cables and aerial equipment to install each section. Lotte World Tower, Korea, rising majestically from the heart of the city, like an absolute vertical axis piercing through the thick fog of an Asian megacity. It's not only the tallest building in South Korea, but also a clear statement that the nation has entered an era of global prominence. Located in Jamsil, an area steeped in economic development and popular culture, this tower houses a fully vertical ecosystem. Inside, there are offices, luxury hotels, high-rise residential buildings, retail spaces, and an aerial observation deck. The tower's slender form, inspired by Korean ceramics and calligraphy, softens the massive glass volume, making it feel light rather than rigid or heavy. Ain Dubai, United Arab Emirates. When you want to build a Ferris wheel that's 250 meters tall, you're not simply making a giant wheel. The wheel axle is held in place by 192 ultra-high-strength cables, each tens of meters long. This structure consumed over 11,200 tons of steel, a figure 25% higher than the amount of steel used to build the Eiffel Tower. Lifting the main axle and bearings to that height is a feat only a few companies in the world are capable of accomplishing. Currently, it stands there silent and proud, awaiting a radical technical solution so that it can turn things around again. Museum of the Future, built as a giant metal spiral where solid and hollow forms blend together to create a unique architectural expression. Along with the continuously curved stainless steel surface, it forms an ellipse suspended in mid-air. The building stands out along Sheikh Zayed Road as a technological sculpture rising from the desert amidst impossible places. Inside the museum are highly interactive exhibition rooms, simulating future technologies and concepts of extraterrestrial life. A task that would be difficult to accomplish using traditional techniques without digital simulation. Each floor acts as a new chapter, guiding visitors through possibilities that may emerge in the coming decades. Karakoram Highway, Pakistan. This is a symbol of the friendship between Pakistan and China, higher than mountains, deeper than the sea. It is approximately 1,300 kilometers long, connecting Havelian to Kashgar. Building an international trade route through a disputed area was a logistically insane decision in the 1960s. This area lies on geological fault lines. Earthquakes, landslides, flash floods, and avalanches occur frequently. In total, more than 1,000 people sacrificed their lives during the construction process, which lasted nearly 20 years.